Hello again, this is Michael from TOEFLresources.com. This video is all about how to write a TOEFL integrated essay. The question we're working with today is from the official guide to the TOEFL practice test number 2, and the topic is whether or not professors should appear on television. Now, I can't give you the reading and the lecture here because those are owned by ETS, but even if you don't have the book in front of you, the video should still be really useful because the point of the video is to show you how to structure your integrated essay. And I want to show you that you can use an identical template, an identical structure every time you write a TOEFL integrated essay. I want to stress that no matter what the question is, you can structure your answer in the exact same way. And in doing that, I hope I can demystify the integrated essay a little bit. That said, if you do want to get a copy of the book, I'll put up an annotation that'll show you where you can buy it, as well as some other good TOEFL books. So let's get started. First of all, again, if you don't have the book, I'll give you some reading and listening notes. These are the notes I took about the reading. The author of the reading thinks that it's a good idea for professors to appear on TV. He made 3 points to support that argument. His first point was that these appearances can broaden the audience of the professors. He noted that they can become more respected academics. Second, he said that appearing on TV can help the universities themselves, that it can increase their prestige. Third, he said that these appearances have a benefit to the public, that the programs on TV are usually quite shallow, while the appearances by the professors are not. The lecture cast doubt on these claims with 3 matching counterpoints. First, the lecturer said that professors are viewed as entertainers when they go on TV, and that this could actually have a negative effect on their funding. Next, he said that universities suffer when the professors go on TV because they have no time for their duties. And finally, he said that the content that the professors show on TV is not very meaningful and that a reporter could provide the same level of content. Now, that's pretty simple, but there's a couple things I want to note. First of all, note how the lecture casts doubt on the reading. You're all familiar with casting doubt essays. What some people don't realize is that the casting doubt is really the only type that ETS uses these days on the real test. Some of the textbooks you have will have the so-called supporting questions, where the lecturer supports what is presented in the reading. However, I haven't seen one of those on the real test in quite a few years, and none of the students I've worked with have encountered one of those, I think, in the last 3 or maybe even 4 years. I don't think you're going to get one. That's not a promise, that's not a guarantee, but if I were you, I would focus my studies almost exclusively on the casting doubt type essay. There are some textbooks out there that have a lot of integrated essays that are not casting doubt. Those textbooks, I think, are kind of useless. So, again, casting doubt is what you have to prepare for. Second of all, note that I have a main point and then I have 1 supporting detail. I have a main point, 1 supporting detail, a main point, 1 supporting detail. Over here, I have the main counterpoint along with a supporting detail each time. In the template that I'm going to teach you today, that's what you need. You need the main point, you need 1 supporting detail. The main point will come at the beginning of the paragraph. The supporting detail is somewhere in the middle. Again, the lectures, well, you can't see the paragraphs, but in the script, they're basically paragraphs. The main counterpoint comes at the beginning of the paragraph. The supporting detail comes somewhere in the middle. If you're an advanced student, you can include more information, but for 95% of you, this is sufficient. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's start writing our essay. First of all, you need an introduction. And there's a template you can use to write all of your introductions. Let's take a look. First of all, your first sentence. The reading and the lecture are both about something, which is something. The author of the reading believes that, okay. The lecturer casts doubt on the claims made in the article. He or she thinks that, okay. That's your introduction. That's all you got to do. You can do this every time. Let's see an example. The reading and the lecture are both about the value of television appearances by university professors. Okay. The author of the reading argues that it is very worthwhile for academics to make such appearances. The lecturer casts doubt on the claims made in the article. He believes that these appearances are not particularly useful. Okay, that's your introductory paragraph. It uses this model exactly. However, there is one little change. It's the part I put in italics, which is. Use which is when the topic is something that not everyone is familiar with. For example, the reading and the lecture are both about Machu Picchu, which is an archaeological site in Peru. Or the reading and the lecture are both about the Moai, which are monolithic statues on Easter Island. Here, you don't need to explain what a television appearance is, so leave that out. Otherwise, use this precisely and use it every time. Okay, with the introduction out of the way, we start taking a look at our body paragraphs. Body paragraph 1, there's a template. First of all, the author claims that something. He believes something else. This point is challenged by the lecturer. He or she says that. Furthermore, she points out something else. That's all you got to do. Here's your example. First of all, the author claims that by appearing on television, university professors can broaden their audience and will be viewed as experts in their subjects by more people than ever before. He believes that this can increase their importance as academic professionals. This point is challenged by the lecturer. He says that professors who go on television are viewed by their peers as entertainers rather than as true academics. Furthermore, she points out that because of this problem, their ability to attract funding for their research could be compromised. As you can see, I used the template precisely. Here's the main point, the supporting detail. The main point, or the main counterpoint, and the supporting detail, with a little transition in the middle. That's it. You can use this almost every single time, I promise. Body paragraph 2, same thing, but we just changed the vocabulary a little bit. Let's take a look. Secondly, the author states that. He argues. This argument is rebutted by the lecturer. He or she suggests. He or she elaborates on this by mentioning that. It's the same thing, right? But I just changed the transitional words a little bit. Here's your example. Secondly, the author states that television appearances can be beneficial for the universities themselves. He argues that the prestige of the university is increased when one of their faculty makes a high-profile media appearance. This argument is rebutted by the lecturer. He suggests that universities can suffer because celebrity professors do not have much time for their research and students. He elaborates on this by mentioning that rather than carrying out their duties, they spend a lot of time rehearsing, traveling, and getting made up for their appearances. I used this precisely. You can change it if you want. If you're an advanced student, change states to something else. I don't know. Claims, believes, argues. Well, we used argues here, but you know what I mean. Body paragraph 3. Finally, the author mentions that something. He is of the opinion that something else. The lecturer, on the other hand, feels that he or she puts forth the idea that, and that's it. There's your example. I'll read it for you. Finally, the author mentions that there is a net benefit to the public when a professor appears in media. He is of the opinion that television is usually quite shallow and that professors can provide a very useful remedy to this problem. The lecturer, on the other hand, feels that television networks do not want to present meaningful content. He puts forth the idea that the abbreviated presentations that professors give on television are no more useful than what a regular reporter could deliver. It's a simple template. I used it precisely. You'll notice this one's a little bit different than the previous two. I used the phrase "on the other hand" with what we call parenthetical commas instead of having a separate sentence. It's not a big deal. I think it just makes the essay look a little bit more varied, a little bit more sophisticated. I think that TOEFL graders like grammatical forms like parenthetical commas. But again, it's a very simple template. You can use it every single time, no matter what the essay topic is. Basically, that's all you have to do for the integrated essay: an introduction as well as 3 body paragraphs. However, if you have some extra time, you can write a conclusion. Most of you don't need to write a conclusion. You're probably not going to get any extra points for writing a conclusion. I suppose if you finish really quickly and you've done all your proofreading, you might want to write one, so I'll show you how to do it. 2 sentences. In conclusion, the lecture and the reading are both about the professor effectively challenges the claims made in the article. That's all. There's your example. In conclusion, the lecture and the reading are both about whether or not university professors should make television appearances. The professor effectively challenges the claims made in the article. Okay, so that is how to do every single integrated essay you're ever going to come across. I know I've said it a million times already, but I'll say it again. Every integrated essay can be written in the same way. These templates will work just about every time. I do want to repeat what I said at the beginning, however. Casting doubt is what you need to study. You're not going to get a supporting essay. I'm not going to promise it and I'm not going to guarantee it. Things could change. You might be watching this video a few years in the future, but honestly, I haven't seen one in years. Okay, I'll leave it at that. If you want to read the whole essay in a text form, I'll put up an annotation where you can get it on the main TOEFLresources.com website. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below, or come on over to the website to check out our forum and our blog. It's been very nice sharing this with you, and I look forward to making another video again real soon. Take care for now.